Anoka. Don't forget, burgers will be half price.
I'm the host of Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth. In this radio show and podcast, we have conversations with heart-centered thought leaders to explore their pathway to becoming free, and we will shine a light on what has been hidden, often in plain sight, what they pay attention to, and how it has transformed them and others into a higher level thinking and feeling state during this time of great change. Explore being consciously aware, authentically free, and courageously sovereign with us. Sundays at 11 a.m. on AM 950, and check out our early release episodes that drop Thursdays on your favorite podcast apps.
Thanks to everyone who's continued to support AM 950. Good news, the AM 950 2024 calendar is ready to go, featuring photos that took around Minnesota and important progressive dates. Members that sign up with a one-time $25 membership will receive a 2024 AM 950 calendar as a thank you. Make a one-time $50 or $100 donation. You'll get the AM 950 calendar and the brand new AM 950 tote bag as a thank you. Go to am950radio.com for all the details on the membership. That's am950radio.com. Thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of flurries late tonight with a low of 26, then clearing skies Wednesday with a high of 29.
Get the appliances you've been dreaming of for less at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance. Shop closeouts, scratch and dent, and floor models. Plus, buy more to save more. Take 10% off 2 red tags and 15% off 3 at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio at AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me. Happy 2024. This is my first live show of the new year. I couldn't be more excited to be back. I took all of last week off, and I have to say, and I think that this will be the same for anyone else who hosts on here, that, we took some time. I took some time off, and I was able to kind of recharge. But you know what I'm thinking of the entire time that I am away is that I want to get back. I ran all last week, pretty much all last week, ran nothing but best of shows, which I love. I think they're very good. But the whole time, I'm like, ooh, I want to get back. I want to talk. I want to talk about different topics with you all. I want to explore different areas and whatnot. And so, it's just interesting. I was just thinking about that on the way into work today. It's not even work. I mean, who am I kidding, right? I get to talk about my favorite subject. I get to talk about it with people like you who are interested, maybe have some expertise in it, maybe know a lot more about it than I ever could know. And, I'm here every night to learn, just as you all are. Some know more than I do, and I welcome that sort of, talk and communication that we can all learn from what we bring onto the show every night. So it is really, really a privilege, to be very honest, to come out here every night and talk about the paranormal and talk about different belief systems that go along with it. Because, to say, well, what does Bigfoot have to do with a belief system? Quite a bit, actually, as it happens. And those are things that I absolutely love talking about. So thank you very much as we go into 2024. Thank you very much for, allowing me to share my ideas and my thoughts. And I hope that you all do as well. As I get ready for today, it's new year. What's the one thing you do? Of course, the one thing that you do is that you start new routines because it's a new year, right? That's what you do. You wait until December 31st. You can do all the old bad habits that you want, and then January 1st, time to be able to do it all differently and do it all new. And so today I went and I do I go to a walking track nearby at a school, and I started walking again. And boy, that was not easy. That was really not easy. And I walked for about 45 minutes, and I think I made it for about 20 some minutes. And you know what, though? That's okay. I mean it. That is okay. If I made it for 10 minutes, that is okay. If you are doing the same thing that I'm doing, you're starting a diet or you're giving up something, and, for example, you're giving up cigarettes and you have one. As far as I'm concerned, that's okay because you're trying. It's. I think, in my opinion, others might have some very different opinion on all this. If, as long as you're trying, it's going to take a while to let it sink in, let it all kind of get into place. And last year, to be very honest, I hate to say this because it frustrates me so much. I had gained so much weight last year, and during the pandemic, during lockdown. Okay, let's get precise here. During lockdown, I lost 80 pounds. Okay, and so that is really sad to know that I've gained. I don't want to say I gained it all back because that makes me sound like I'm 80 pounds heavier, but I am. Let's be honest, I am. And that's really hurtful when you've worked so hard and you have something that you don't have control over. I don't care what anyone says. When you have these addictions, food is an addiction, pop is an addiction, and those are very, very, very tough to get past. Pop is one of my favorite things in the universe, quite frankly. And so, every day, if you fall off, just get back on. Do your best. Don't, I don't come to you as an expert. I come to you as someone who's been through it, who is going through it. Just keep trying. Keep doing your best. You're going to have days where you fail spectacularly. And that's okay. Just keep trying, keep going, keep doing it. And I'm telling myself this as well. This isn't me just telling you all. This is me telling myself at all. It's okay I went for 25 minutes instead of 45 minutes today. It's okay that I'm probably not going to do it at all tomorrow because I'm going to get ready for Ghost Stories and beyond. It's okay. As long as you keep trying, as long as every day you take a little bit more and do a little bit more. As someone on here says, I'm trying to stop drinking, but I'm having a few tonight. I just got to stop buying them. Whatever works, right? I get it. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck and Happy New Year to you as well. And so that's, I come to you not as someone who knows anything about taking care of oneself or a motivational speaker. I'm coming to you as someone who's been through it and know that it gets silly when you do, December 31st, I'm going to, have a cake. And then January 1st, I'm going to drop away most of that stuff and just have salads. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. I'm coming to you with experience. What it does come from is that maybe on January 1st, instead of having a cake, you have a cupcake. I think the best way to go about these things is not to go cold turkey, in my opinion. I know it works. I know cold turkey. Can we call it cold turkeyism? I don't know if that's a thing, but cold turkeyism. I know it works for some. All I'm saying is don't put so much pressure on yourself to succeed when you get to the first of the year. Give yourself some time to get through it. Give yourself time to acclimate and then keep chipping away at that. You've been able to master this. You're down to, 2 cupcakes a day. What does next week look like? Well, what if I did 1 cupcake? What if I moved on to a cupcake, once a week? That's the sort of stuff that I try to do. Now, if you're just listening to me on the radio, you'd be like, oh, that sounds great. Now, if you're looking at me on the Facebook stream, I'd be like, buddy, are you going to follow your own advice? I am. I try. We all try, right? So that's from me to you. do with it what you will. I hope it resonates with some of you. Like I said, though, I was kind of saying it for myself as well. With that being said, I don't have a guest tonight, okay? You're just stuck with little old me. And one of the things that I seem to have a problem getting a guest for is this topic. And I find when I do find somebody who wants to talk about this, they don't want to talk about it the way I want to talk about it, which sounds very odd, doesn't it? Because I want to talk about angels tonight. And I want to talk about, do we believe in them? Have they helped you? Have you ever seen or heard one? And I find it very fascinating. I find angels in general very fascinating. Now, once again, I do want to say that I am obviously coming to you biased, okay? And I'm full aware of this. I'm coming to you biased because my background, my religious faith had been Roman Catholic, Christianity, now spiritualism. So there are so much more out there than what I'm talking about tonight. And I acknowledge that, okay? I want you to know that I acknowledge that. I come to you with not knowing any of that part of it. If you have any guest suggestions for future programs to come on, and if you ever listen to the program, if you ever listen to our station AM 950, I highly recommend that you do so beyond my program, because you do have you have a number of great programs, but one I really look to quite a bit actually is Native Roots with our host, Robert Pilot, who I admire greatly. And, at some point, I really hope to get him on here to talk about areas of the Native Americans that actually, that we talk about. I mean, we can talk about stuff like Wendigo all day and all night, but what about the more subtle parts of their belief system, and what comes and visits them, what spirits come and visit them, and I'm always looking for the correlation, and hopefully at some point we can do that. It's just hard, especially this time of year. As the holidays were going, it was very difficult. But that is something that I'm hoping to get going here within the next the next month or two, because it's long overdue to get him on here. So, and if there's anyone he'd like to bring on as well. But so the angel side of things, I find it very interesting. And so we have Cynthia, who just sent in, and she says, I do believe in spirit guides, not necessarily angels with wings. Something I was going to bring up as it happens. I think in my mind, I feel like they're the same thing. Does that mean I'm right? I don't know. I mean, I think it varies per person, doesn't it? I mean, that's the thing about any sort of that. But I just feel like that when you're talking, why wouldn't they be the same thing? And I've always found very interesting that people say that when they see angels that they see wings and stuff on them, but angels weren't always depicted with wings. If you look at, okay, now this is where it gets a little like, okay, Greg, what are you trying to do here? Things I don't think I'd ever thought I would say is, if you look to the Bible, this is not on a very special episode of GhostBox Radio, but if you look in the Bible does never describes an angel with wings. And I do believe that, there was a point like that within art that angels started to be depicted with wings. If I remember correctly, like the seraphims, the cherubs, they always had wings, but they were never mentioned as such. But even like if you look at and I'm reading something, folks. Don't think I'm coming off this top of my head. 3rd century catacomb of Priscilla. They were depicted without wings. The earliest known representation of angels with wings is on the prince's sarcophagus, attributed to the time of Theodosius, and discovered near Istanbul in the 1930s. And that is where the earliest that they can put wings onto angels. Doesn't mean that they never had them. It's more so that it's maybe they never showed it. Maybe they never showed wings. I don't know. That's why I find it fascinating. That's why I find that topic very fascinating, because it is very much, there's a lot of questions to it. It doesn't mean that anyone's wrong with it. And I think belief system has something to do with it. I mean, what if angels came to Earth to depict themselves more closer to what us mere mortals look like? I don't know. And that's something that I find truly fascinating. Let's see here. I got some stuff showing up here in the comments section. What I want to ask you all who is listening, and I asked the question earlier on Facebook. If you feel free to share, could you let me know in the comments if you believe that you've either seen or heard an angel, and whether or not you feel like that they've helped you? Because there's a couple things that I want to talk about. I'm not sure if we're going to get to everything tonight, but a couple things I want to talk about is whether or not, first of all, have they helped us? If you have specific examples that you believe that you could call out to them, one of the areas that I look for mostly in angel activity is your archangels, such as St. Michael, which I feel blessed that I live in a city called St. Michael. I mean, that's always been very close to me. Raphael, all these angels that have very specific powers, okay? I want to talk about that. I also want to get into what everyone else has been saying in the Facebook comments. If you want to put them in your comments, feel free to. If you've ever got help from angels, if you ever felt like that you've seen or heard one, let me know. I also want to, maybe in the third segment, there's a couple pieces of audio that I want to play that to me are suspect, but I don't know. And I find that sort of thing very, very interesting. And I'm looking forward to a great discussion. If we don't get to it all tonight, that's fine as well, because we can do this again some other time as well. But I just, I don't go solo very often, folks. Normally I have someone here with me, so I'm kind of going my own road tonight. So, and I'm excited about it. Let's take our first break. When we come back, I want to read some of the comments from Facebook. If you want to put anything there, plus some of your comments that you've been putting in there right now, plus anything else that comes up. We're talking angels tonight. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Magus Books, your multicultural spiritual supply store. Stop in and expand your horizons with books, classes, readings, and supplies at magusbooks.com or in our shop at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis. From the best incense to beautiful statues, we have supplies and books for your spiritual explorations. Come in and chat with our knowledgeable staff and get what you need for your next adventure, whether you're fighting ghosts or opening your third eye. Check us out today at magusbooks.com.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I opened Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
Ghost Stories and Beyond returns to Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Join Char Savoy and myself, Greg Bakun, as we host our special guest, Joe Frankie. Joe paranormal investigated with Ed and Lorraine Warren since 1986. You know the Warrens, where the Conjuring films were based on. It's a night of Joe sharing his stories and experiences. It's $10 a ticket to join in, and we'll see you January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. at Billy's in Anoka. Don't forget, burgers will be half price. And January 3rd is tomorrow. Wow, look at that already, huh? Tomorrow, January 3rd. The month is almost over. Well, okay, maybe it's not. Now, join us tomorrow at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka. We have Ghost Stories and Beyond. We're very excited about that because we're going to be, through the power of the internet, we will be bringing in Joe Frankie. He's not going to be there in person. He lives out on the East Coast, but he's going to be able to completely interact with us. If you come out there, you have questions for him. He's one nice guy. He's actually been on the show before, and he is just a really, really nice guy. I mean, he's been investigating with the Warrens since '86 up until their passing. He has a lot of stories, and he will also talk to you about some of the cases, the famous cases that he was not involved with, but Ed himself had told him about, such as the Amityville. So come out to Billy's Bar and Grill tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Burgers are half price, good food downstairs, $10 to get in. It's going to be a great, great night. So I hope to see you all there. So we are talking about angels tonight, and I see that this is a very lively group, actually, in regards to talking about it, and I'm very happy to see that because it's something that's very close to my heart. I had been very ill in 2023 from basically end of March until August. And one of the things that I had requested quite a bit was for Archangel Raphael, who heals, to please heal me. And, you might be like, well, that's a long time to be ill. Your mileage may vary on that. The thing is, we're not talking miracles here. We're talking about help. Two different things. All I wanted was to feel better. And when you feel like you're literally going to die, and I don't mean that in a sort of like, felt like I was going to die. It's more like, I think I'm going to die. So for those who listened to the show when I was weekly at that point, may have noticed that I wasn't around for March, April, or most of May. That was because I was ill. And it was, you have to have, and I use this term very carefully, faith. And I don't think it's faith of a religion, it's faith of the power that's going to help you. Does that make sense? And I don't expect everyone to agree with that. This isn't, it's very clear that we're towing the line on highly religious programming here tonight, and that is not my intention. But the two, there is just a thin line that separates the two. And so that's what I'm thinking. Now, also, for those who may remember, I would do, every Sunday night, I would do something called GhostBox Live. I would take a spirit box, those devices, paranormal devices that scan through radio frequencies at a very fast rate. The theory is you can talk, ask questions, and you get an answer to the box. The energy from that radio is allowing spirit to talk to you. And I consider myself pretty good at it. And we did one night. And I asked if I could ask Archangel Michael if he could help everybody who is watching tonight. Everybody who is watching that GhostBox Live presentation. Whatever they need help with, can they help with? And that was it. And I mean, I did it with much more, effort than I just said it as. I had a little intonation to it. And the next day, I kept getting messages from people who watched the night before. My back doesn't hurt anymore. I've had a headache for days. It's gone. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I had about 4 people reach out to me. That's 4 more people than I expected to. There's power there. I believe that there's power there. And I don't mean that in a corruptible sort of way. I mean that there is energy there that is meant to be tapped into and that you can use it. And I specifically asked for angel energy. So that is very interesting to me, and it will always be very interesting to me. Did I do it the next week? No. Because I also feel like that part of it's like, well, what if it doesn't work this time? I don't want to be like, I want to be able, dare I say, to enjoy the moment that I was able to help people. So that's that. All right. Let's see here. Let's get to some comments here. Lynette says, I feel that I was visited. I'm guessing he was an angel in a human's body. I was at a very low time in my life, and the day that I had the experience, it just stuck with me as being very loving and helped me so much that at that moment in my life, I never saw him again, and I've never forgotten that experience. Isn't that interesting? The idea of having somebody come to you, and if it's an angel, and it just, like we talked in the, what if it's just somebody who was put into Lynette's direction? And is that still angel help? Why not? So yeah, I don't know. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Lynette. I really appreciate it. Jill says, I remember that particular episode being there in comments. Oh, okay. Yeah. We all felt it helped us, those who are needing it too, as healing. It works. It works. Angels are real. I think so. I'm glad to. I forgot you were there. And I'd say it was beautiful. I mean, I don't do this anymore. I don't do the GhostBox Live thing anymore, only because I'm on 5 nights a week already. It's like Greg needs to sleep once in a while. But boy, do I miss it. Not because of anything other than being able to maybe pull something like that off once in a while. That is in the next segment, if we get time for it, I want to play an actual piece of audio from one of the GhostBox Lives from Easter 2023 or 2022. 2022. Let's see, what else do we have here in the comments? And remember, folks, if you have a particular story about an angel interaction, whether you've seen one, they've helped you. What about clouds, right? We've all seen angelic figures or things that look angelic in the clouds. Do we take that as a possible angel? I mean, Paul Douglas will come over here, meteorologist Paul Douglas will come over here and tell me why that is not an angel, but that's scientific. Sometimes things aren't scientific, though, are they? I don't know. I'm a believer in that stuff. I'm a firm believer. I want to believe. That makes me more susceptible to believing stuff that might be a little bit more outrageous. But at the same time, I also know that we can't explain everything in the universe as well. So let's see. Just reading through some stuff here. Towie says, you are right about Bible's depiction of angels. They may not have had wings, but not as we identify. I feel we have seen an angel. It presented itself as we see a street light on a snowy night. That's pretty beautiful. I don't think it helped with anything in particular, but it did reinforce my belief in angels, which I think is really cool. Jill says, I feel like these are all angelic symbols. Whatever you see as a visual representation, even in music, when it plays just right time for you, it's all messages. And I think that's an amazing point, actually, Jill. When I was doing the Facebook GhostBox Live, there'd be stuff that goes out that I didn't understand. I didn't hear live in my room with the spirit box. But then somebody who was looking for it, they heard it, and they heard what they needed. Now the question is, did they actually hear something, or did their mind tell them to hear it? And I look at it this way: who cares? They heard what they needed to hear. Are you going to be a monster and try to depict that, someone's father didn't come through? Be like, well, I didn't hear anything. That was wrong. You're just trying to make yourself feel better. No, what you're going to be is like, the way I come about it is, if it resonates for you, then that's all that matters. And because of something like Spirit Box, where I'm playing it here, if you will, in my house. When I was doing it, I was playing in my house, and then people would hear it going through my computer microphone and coming out at their speakers. Then who knows what transpired with the audio between my house and their house? And you might be like, well, that means that it's destroying the signal, or it's changing the signal. Exactly. And if it's coming out to be something that resonates with them, then that's what this is. This is exactly what this is. And I think that is the thing that I find that I think people don't understand. That's what I'm talking about, faith, folks. I'm not talking about, and I'm not putting this down, like the Ten Commandments, stuff like that. That's religion. Faith is part of religion. But this faith I'm talking about is to believe that if you're meant to get something, if you're meant to get a message, you're going to get it. Sometimes it's not going to be, billboard size. You're going to have to try to look for it a little bit sometimes. The spirit box in particular, they're not easy to hear all the time, because a lot of people it comes across as something that is very difficult to hear. But the point being is that if you can believe that the person you're trying to reach out to, whether it be a family member who passed, loved one, angel, whatever, if you believe that they're going to hear you, that they're going to talk to you, you just have to have faith that they will. This is getting a bit preachy, isn't it? My God. I hope you all don't mind. The point is, though, is that that's what we do. For those of you who do paranormal and go to locations every week, and it's the same locations, and you're going for the thrill, good for you. A lot of us do paranormal so that we are able to have those messages. I am a conduit. I am a conduit when I use Spirit Box, just like a medium is a conduit. And so those are messages that are meant. Now, Toby says that I think messages can come when least expected. And I would also add to that, when most needed. And that's, sometimes, I'm like, that's, fairy book, fairy tale land over here. But I do believe that's the case. And sometimes all it takes is finding a penny on the ground, or seeing a dragonfly or something like that. And you know what it means. One of my favorite things are feathers, finding feathers. I've kept every feather I found. Every single one I have kept. Walking across, finding feathers, looking up what the color of the feather means when you find it. I even found one of the most elusive ones, a purple one, and that was in Maryland. David says that, no, he doesn't cough. I feel I've seen an angel, more specifically Archangel Michael. I believe it. What I saw was in vision, but I could describe to you exactly what I saw. I don't know if it was trying to get my attention. During that vision, I seen a tower in the clouds. I'm still trying to understand what this was. David, thank you so much for sharing that. That's fantastic. Wow. That's really cool. And I guess the question I have with that is, did that show up for you, David, when you needed it the most? Was that something that you needed to experience? Is that something that helped you greatly, or was it something that just happened and then it still helped you? I'm very curious. If you wouldn't mind sharing. Cynthia says, "What about different saints? Sometimes I will give a quick help me wrench on my vehicle prayer for a little guidance from my dad or other loved ones. Helps settle me and gives me hope to accomplish my task." I don't know. Let's put it that way. I think, that kind of falls in line with your spirit guides, right? The question someone asked earlier, like spirit guides, was that you even, Cynthia? Spirit guides, same as angels. And, I think in a way they are kind of like angels, right? I mean, because they're helping us. They're there to help us. And, you have your guardian angel, and you so often, how many times we hear our guardian angel is a relative of ours. And it's something that I absolutely think that you could put them all into the same thing, and the same bucket, if you will. And I love that too, because I think, Cynthia, one of the things that you picked up on that you talked about here is really important. There isn't anything too small to ask for help with. Someone might be like, asking, to help wrench a vehicle, helping to get, that's so real world. No, it's important. It's important for Cynthia to get this help. She needs it. There's something that she needs with this. There isn't anything too small. And that's something that, if you listen to our program last night that we replayed about manifestations, there isn't anything, don't feel guilty about asking for help. That's what they're there for. When you don't get help, it's because you don't ask. And I do believe if you don't have faith behind asking for it, faith that it will actually happen, it won't happen. You have to be sincere about it. And you also have to give it time. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if I want to ask for $1 million. But if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's see, Jill. What does Jill have to say? I miss these preaches in your live GhostBox sessions. Always hits home, Greg. It's a gift you share that has helped both living and spirits of the dead. It's amazing work. I love taking part in it every time. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much. I miss them too. Like I said, normally I don't go freestyle like I am tonight. But funny enough, I went to a seance over at Midwest Witchery and Healing in December, at the end of December, right before we took our break. And Jay Ryan, who was the psychic medium at the seance, he said to me, "You need to do more shows that is just you talking." Funny enough, he really did. I'm not trying to create an excuse why I'm doing this by myself. He literally was like, "You got to do this. People are going to enjoy it more." I hope so. Yeah, I do a lot of pontification on GhostBox Live. I really do. But I do like talking about it. I do like hearing what other people have to say. If you're all still enjoying this, why don't we go? We read some more stuff. I'm going to take another break here. If you have more comments, put it in the comments section. We might get to the Facebook stuff. There's a couple pieces of audio I think I'll still try to play when I get to it. We're all listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I opened Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
In the heart of the Northeast, there lies a hidden beast, a dragon's lair at the crossroad, guarded by the maiden Mother Crone. A treasure trove of spells galore, discover incense, books, jewelry, and more. Just as the oracles foretold, this is where your mystery unfolds. As the shadows creep and the veil gets thin, do not fear what lies within. Magus Books is where your journey begins. Visit us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or online at magusbooks.com.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Ghost Stories and Beyond returns to Billy Bar and Grill in Anoka January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Join Char Savoy and myself, Greg Bakun, as we host our special guest, Joe Frankie. Joe paranormal investigated with Ed and Lorraine Warren since 1986. You know the Warrens, where the Conjuring films were based on. It's a night of Joe sharing his stories and experiences. It's $10 a ticket to join in, and we'll see you January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. at Billy's in Anoka. Don't forget, burgers will be half price. And don't forget to listen to that sexy voice that we just had on. That is the voice of reason to have you go out to Ghost Stories and Beyond tomorrow, January 3rd. You can meet Joe Frankie virtually, but it's going to be a great night. A lot of people like to show up to these, and great way to meet new people as well with similar interests. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am really looking forward to it. And then the rest of the week, the only other night I am actually live this week is going to be Friday. Tomorrow night, because of all the equipment and stuff I'm bringing for Ghost Stories, what we didn't mention is Joe Frankie is part of the Warren Legacy Foundation, which is this very cool group that takes paranormal investigation to such a high caliber that it's really an important organization. I am a part of it. And I felt that so I'm not rushing to get all my junk together after the evening, that we're going to replay an episode. And what I chose to replay tomorrow night is actually with the co-founder of the Warren Legacy Foundation, Chris McKinnell. We're going to replay that episode tomorrow night, co-founded with none other than Lorraine Warren. So, kind of high pedigree there. And then Thursday, we're going to replay an episode that we only had a couple weeks ago. That's Angela Boley. She's talking about tracking down her past life, Frank, who actually she was able to find out what happened to him in World War II. It's very heroic, but the conversation wasn't done. When we got to the end of the episode, that wasn't finished yet. There's more to talk about this story. So Friday, there's no casual Friday. I'm going to be live Friday. We're going to have back on Angela to talk about the rest of the story, answer questions, talk about other things that are associated with that. I've often heard people connecting with a past life, but not to this degree. And I think it's going to be a fantastic conversation. If you listen to the first one, if you haven't listened to it yet, that's going to be on Thursday. You're going to see how emotional she gets over family that she hasn't seen in her own lifetime, but she knows. It's very moving. It's very incredible. We're talking about angels tonight. I'm rogue. I'm all by myself here. No guest tonight. It's just little me, and we're talking about angels. Having a great conversation. Everyone who is taking part. I really appreciate it. Let's go back to the comments. If you have more to say, please put it into the comments. I'm happy to ride out the rest of the show with what you have to say, because I find it so interesting. Towie had said that angels they listen to us, and they do, but I think we have to ask, right? I think that's kind of the thing. Just like even when it comes to, I know you're gonna be like, how can you go here with this? But when you feel like you have demonic, oppression, you can't bring someone in to help. You have to ask for someone to come in. You have to be the one to ask. It can't be your friend who's like, oh, I think something's going wrong over there. You have to ask the question. You have to ask for help yourself. I believe that's how it is with any sort of request like that from any realm. You have to be the one to ask, and you might have to do it a few times. You might have to ask it differently, but keep going. I've been asking for a situation for this show to be able to do the show and find some sort of job that allows me to have hours that I'm not starting early in the morning as I finish late here at night. That is creative. I don't even have to be like the most creative person in the room, just something that helps me pay the bills. And I think I found something. But that's from asking. That's literally, once again, listen to last night's episode on manifestation. It's all connected. We're talking about angels. We're talking about manifestation. It's all connected, right? So, with that being said, Mr. David, he followed up my question. Remember, he saw St. Michael and asked him, did he need St. Michael? Like, was he asking for him? Or how did this transpire with it? And let's see, David says it was something that just happened. Oddly, it was on my way to work one morning. When I got to work, I wrote everything and drew a picture of what I saw. That just goes to show this is pretty profound for David. That night, I kept hearing Michael's name over and over and over again. This happened about mid-October, and I've been working there, and I've been working since. What's the message? Obviously, there's something pretty intense there. Let's see. Towie says, I've been in heated arguments, and suddenly words flow from me that I've not thought of. I think it's my angels speaking for me. That's interesting. I think that's very. I think it's very possible. I think so. Let's see. Jill says, I have a story with that, and after that day, I never ever lost faith or disbelieved in the power of God and the angels who come to my aid to fight this evil. I swear by it. Then Jill adds, the Archangel Michael came to help me fight the devil himself. Believe. I don't know how many of you have done Reiki or have had Reiki, or if you're Reiki masters. I've known a couple Reiki masters who will literally tell me that, that Michael swoops in to help. I don't hear all Reiki masters say that, but I do hear that. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I struggle with that sometimes because that seems to be so specific of a religion. And I certainly am not trying to create any sort of dialogue that gives us that there's one religion. That is not my intention. So that part does make me struggle a little bit because it's not the people who are getting the Reiki that are saying that, it's the people who are doing the Reiki who are saying that. That makes, it makes a differentiation with that because it's not, it's them, the Reiki masters, the Reiki practitioners. So I find that very interesting. I don't have an answer for that. I just wanted to put that out there. Let's see, Emily says that I saw my grandfather and uncle and aunt when I was a kid. They had all passed. They flew over my house, no joke. They were just there, checking up on me. I had a bad childhood, but I know that they were protecting me. They still do. That's very interesting. Towie says, I do believe that Michael does swoop in. Remember, religion is a man-made thing. Michael does not follow religion. That's true. I find it, though, that I don't think all religions claim Michael, and that's where I'm getting at with that. Jill says, I am not Catholic, but my mother is, although asking his presence, he still assisted me, which that's how it should be, right? And that goes with what Towie said right beforehand, that it's, religion is man-made. My point, though, is that not every religion claims a Michael, but there is often a version, right? So it's such a weird area for me. It really is a weird area for me. Let's go to Facebook here real fast. Let's see if I got any comments here that are interesting. Let's see. Denise says that I was about 7 years old and I was asleep with my mother. I woke up early as the sun was coming up and my mom was sleeping. I rolled onto my back and directly above me was a beautiful blonde-haired lady in a purple gown floating above me. I wasn't scared at all. She just looked at me and smiled and started to fade away. So that's something. I mean, I mean, the idea that Denise takes that as an angel, and when I say that, I'm not saying, and she's wrong. No, what I'm saying is that right away, there isn't any other thought in her mind. She's like, that's an angel. That's an angel watching over me. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really awesome. Let's see here. Going back to Facebook. I'm just reading here real fast. That was a lot of words. A lot of words, people. Let's see here. Had one come to me. Russ says, I had one come to me in my bed, and it pointed at my stomach and said, God is in there. And then the angel pointed at a globe it was holding in its hand. Like, I can picture this. I could see images of heaven in the globe. The angel told me I needed to focus more on heaven and less on down here. It's a much longer story, but that's the gist of it. That's very interesting. Towie says that I just know when I call on Archangel Michael, I can feel strength wrapped around me. He may be to solve the situation, but he provides me with courage. Absolutely. That is fantastic. Jill says, I wonder if they appear in an image that we are most comfortable with, so that is what is representation of the moment. Each slight variation. I think there's something to it. I think something to both. And I love, also another name I'm going to throw out here for people who especially do energy work, Metatron. That's another name that, I just say it, I'm feeling strength already. I can feel it. I don't know. Let's try it, folks. If you're listening at home or whatever, just think of power of good, think of power of positivity, think of like a name like Metatron. And that is exactly what they bring strength, they bring energy to you. And as Emily also says, religion, God, angel, it's not a simple thing. As humans, I don't think we could truly know the answer. I don't think we need to. And I think, that it's funny because we're all actually saying the same things here. We're all saying what we, in a sense, because you all are saying different things, but it dovetails into each other, where it's just like the concept of God, angels, it might be bigger than what we can accept as humans, but to like what Jill and Towie are saying, what's happening is that we're making allowances for it, they're making allowances for it, and they're helping us. And I think that's great. Jill says the same thing for me in regards to St. Michael. His wings felt like wrapping all around me in sweeping motion. I always describe as warm and love as a mother wrapped a blanket around you. So powerful, though. Because we're starting to run out of time here, which we could go on for a while, couldn't we? And it doesn't mean the conversation is over. If you like these type of programs where I'm just kind of going solo and I'm kind of have a subject and we're just kind of going with it, let me know. I really appreciate it. And if you just want to even send me a note over at comment at ghostboxradio.com, as well as just my Facebook or whatever else. That way I know that you all had a good time with this. But I'm going to say, when I was really ill, Shar had reached out to St. Michael. When I was really ill, she reached out to him and asked for St. Michael to help me. And all that she could say is suddenly his wings went up. And that often means protection, right? Kind of also high alert. And that's something I'll never forget. And let me just say, it was touch and go for a while. Let's see here. Jill says, as we have a couple seconds left here, Jill says, these are my favorite topics whenever you cover angels, even Mother Mary. Just amazing testimonies. Thank you again, Greg. You're very welcome. Also, I was going to play that bit tonight from the Spirit Box session, but we didn't have time tonight, so we're going to have to do that at another time. Folks, this was pretty awesome. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Let's pick up this conversation. Let me know if you want us to talk about another conversation in this way. This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you all taking the time to share your night with me. Tomorrow's going to be a repeat with Chris McKinnell, Thursday with Angela Boley, and we're live with Angela on Friday. Everyone have a great night.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. You're listening to the best progressive radio in Minnesota. It's AM